good afternoon. So, have you ever had one of those days where you feel like you've achieved nothing? Well, that's my day today. But I have whittled my way through a big list of things that I had to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover one of my jobs by doing live. So I've often talked to you about setting up in order of what you're going to do. So I need to make some what is this? Dill. I need to chop this dill down for my goat cheese, which is at the moment fermenting. So later on, tomorrow, I'll be coming to you with the goat cheese and the goat yogurt. Now, if you were following a little while ago, I had a go at making goat cheese. It didn't work. It was actually a dismal fail. But anyway, I'm trying again. So keep an eye out for my goat yogurt and goat cheese tomorrow. But I like to roll the goat cheese in this dill. Is absolutely beautiful. Plus we're having fish tonight, so I want some of it for the fish. So I need to chop that down, and then I'm going to make my ghee, my garlic ghee. So it's a twist on the Paris butter, but it's all around the things that I can have in my metabolic program. So we have ghee instead of butter. So if you're keen to find out a little bit more about the metabolic program, then you should hook into one of my cooking classes that I'm doing with my nutritionist. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. We've got our first class on Saturday. So once we've got that under our belt, we're then going to go virtual, because I know there's a lot of people further afield down in Tassie and lots of people out there that are very keen to find out more. And I can see Megan's one of those people. I can see a couple of people threading up. Okay, let me get on. So, whenever you're doing your herbs and spices, you want to make sure that your bowl is really dry, because if it's wet, things stick to the side. So I'm just going to very quickly chop this down, and all of these things I'm just doing by listening. Okay, so usually 6, 7 for chopping. So that was 5 seconds. So then the next thing is for my ghee, my garlic ghee. So, oh, yum, smells delicious. If you like dill. So I'm not going to worry too much about my dirty bowl, because it's all herbs and things going in. So I'm just going to leave that dirty. Did you like the new view you've got today? Just because I'm going to turn you around to my other Thermomix over there, because what's better than one Thermomix? 2, of course. So I'm going to very quickly chop my parsley, and then I'm going to throw in my other ingredients, because what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to freeze it, because when I make my chicken Kiev, if your garlic butter or your ghee is frozen into a little block, it's a lot easier to wrap your chicken mince around it. So I'm doing a variation on the LCHF chicken Kiev on cookie dough on Saturday. Okay, so that's my parsley and some other secret ingredients. And I just need to go to my pantry to get my so just a few little chili flakes and some smoky pat. So you guys all know I like a little bit of spice. This is smoked chili. Oh, I'm back to front, sorry. Oh, it's just so yummy. Okay, so that goes aside for that. Chop that down. And then I just need to add my ghee. Now, I didn't peel all of my garlic. If you don't peel your garlic, sometimes, because I just call it paper, it just comes off. So pull it out. I use organic, so it really doesn't matter. but if you want to take your piece of paper out or your skin, take that out. Okay, now I am going to add, now I only made, you might have seen earlier, I made this ghee, so hopefully it's still nice and runny because I'm just going to mix it all together. Then I'm going to freeze it into an ice cube tray. As I said, when I make my Kiev on Saturday, the frozen butter or ghee will be inside and it makes life a lot easier. You may have seen me make these before on a live. So I'm going to put in 100 grams of, actually no, I'm going to do more. I'm going to do 180. Now I haven't told you all of my secret ingredients. Okay, perfect. Mix that together. Now, I'm going to flip you around to this Thermomix and I'm going to show you a new recipe. I've not actually made this recipe before, but I have made, you've watched me make crackers many times. So these are, and I'm hoping I'm the right way, can you read that okay? It's fennel, caraway and rye crackers with hummus. Who's ever seen hummus spelt that way before? Anyway, I'm not sure where this recipe is from, but it's in grams, so it must not be American. I'll have to go and have a look. Could be a Swiss recipe, because there's quite a few Swiss recipes that are on Cookie Dough. So we're going to start cooking. Preheat the oven. I'm not going to worry about that too much at the moment. And I need 1.5 teaspoons of fennel seeds. Now, you know me, I don't actually weigh these things exactly. Caraway seeds, oh, my spoon, yeah. That'll do. And it wants, I think it wants me to mill these, so I'm actually going to go back because it said linseeds milled in here. So if I go to the recipe details, it's got 1.5 teaspoons of linseeds ground. So I'm actually going to grind those with my fennel and caraway. So I'll come back to here and add, because it's actually the things like your linseeds and your chia seeds that actually help to gelatinize and lock all of your things together. And then we're going to mill that down. Steal that one. 5 seconds. Who has the guitar as their sound on their TM6? Tell me, what sound do you have? What do you prefer? Okay, so it's only a really rough chop, or rough grind as it was, and we'll tear that off. And now the recipe asks for 100 grams of rye flour and 100 grams of wholemeal flour, but on the metabolic program you can only have rye, so I'm going to use all rye. So is that all right? Do you love my little jokes? My husband's laughing his head off over there. Not. Okay. Oh, look at that. So the reason I've got 200 is because the next one is wholemeal flour, which we are not doing. So these are not a gluten-free flour, but rye flour has a very low GI, and it's a good flour. So you've probably seen me make my my sourdough ones, the discard ones. I've already got my linseeds in there. I'm not doing the sugar, of course, and I need some salt and some baking powder. So I'll add a little bit of baking powder. Don't know what that does, but anyway, insert the measuring cup. Mix for 10 seconds. And water. So come Come on, open up. Oh, it's all very interesting, isn't it? Not. Actually, this is going to make a lot of crackers. I like this already because I like to be able to make a big batch. And I will let you know how they compare to the sourdough ones. Now, that's interesting. I've just realised there's no fat or oil in these. So, let us see. Oh, that'll do. A little bit of extra water and 10 seconds. Speed 4. Now, I'm going to be using the barbecue sheets, which I believe we now sell in the mix shop, which is really good. It's especially if you're far away and you don't have a barbecue shop near you, because I believe you can get them from Barbecues Galore, but these are really, really handy for reusing. So, oh yeah, well, looks easy. Let's see. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I might need to come a little bit further back. It's hard. I don't know if anyone's ever done a live ever before, but when I'm doing a live, I've got all these names flashing up, so I can't actually really see. I can only see pretty much my head. Oh no, lucky. Anyway, so there you go. That's the dough, and you all remember how to get your dough out, and that's to tip your bowl upside down and twiddle your knob. All right, so if it is super sticky, that's actually really good. Look, that came out pretty clean. There's one little bit just stuck under there. But if it's a really sticky dough, release your base, your blade will fall through. So particularly if it's a big amount of dough or something. So I'll just give that a bit more of a twiddle. I'll get that bit off. All right, so you've probably seen me do this before with our bread mat, but just bring your dough together like that. What does it say to do next? Oh, it said to knead it, but you know what? Because I'm basically kneading it now. You know me, I never read a recipe. When you are kneading it, it's usually to get the gluten to bind, but because rye is very low gluten, I don't think it's really that important. So anyway, let's see. Tip out and bring together into a ball and roll out. So you've seen me do this a number of times, so I will do one batch for you, and I think because these are for the class on Saturday, I better make them pretty. So, alrighty, let's take half of you away. And I'm just using, this is actually also, it's like a reusable baking paper. So, and I'll roll that out. Now, the really great thing with doing things that are very low gluten or seedy crackers or no gluten at all, there's a lot of give in them. Whereas if you're doing bread or things with a lot of gluten in them, you can overwork the gluten, but with this, it's a lot harder to do that. So just going to roll that out. And the great thing when you make crackers like this, it's not like when you make biscuits and you've got to cut them out and then get them off and get them onto a tray. You leave it all like this, and then you bake it, and then at the end you snap them all apart. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm sure a lot of you, I can see, are very avid watchers of mine, so I know that you've probably seen me do crackers a number of times, but as I say, these are very similar to the other ones, but there's absolutely no fat, no oil in them. Okay, and the thing with the crackers as well is getting them to the right consistency, not consistency, the right thickness. If they're too thick, they take too long to cook and they won't crack. If they're too thin, they'll burn. So you just need to And that's where I guess the practice thing comes in. So, and for me, I like them relatively thin. So, okay, let's get that off. Perfect. So you can see that it is relatively thin. I'm not very good on maths, so I don't know mils or whatever, but that. And also with if you have a cookie cutter, there's a certain depth on them. So mine are definitely not as thick as the depth of that. That's actually quite a thick cracker. So mine are probably half of that, if you can tell. Anyway, all right, so all I need to do is scoot across there like that, and then they go in the oven. So once they are baked, you just wait for them to cool and snap them apart. Sometimes, I won't know with these because I haven't done them before, but they look like they'll dry out quite quickly. With my FUD crackers, if you've ever watched me do that, because there's quite a lot of water in them, there's no fats in those either. I usually flip them over halfway through and more dehydrate them. So I often turn the oven off and let them finish cooking, because this says, how long will it take? They said 25 to 30 minutes to make these. I will go and find the recipe on Cookie Doo and I'll let you know where they're from, because if they are from America, which they're not, because they're not in ounces, but if they're from Canada or England or Switzerland, you need to change your filters. Okay, so I will pop it into the comments if you want to know. Again, if you want to know more about the metabolic class that I'm doing, then just put metabolic and I can private message you, or you can private message me. Okay, you know that I'm always available for a chat. Anyway, take care, have a great evening. I'm going to just go and measure out my ghee and pop it into the freezer, and once that's all once they freeze, then I pop them out and put them in a Ziploc bag, and then I've just got a perfect little garlic butter ghee ready for my Kievs. Anyway, take care, have a great night, and I'll see you all tomorrow with goat stuff. All right, see ya.